Hi everyone, I'm Rafael Moreno, and I will be sharing to you some tips for passing or topping the licensure examination for teachers. Taking the licensure is like taking a risk. Some would opt not to take this risk because of fear of failing. But then again, the person who risks nothing, does nothing, has nothing, is nothing, and becomes nothing. So why not take this risk? Take the licensure and become something. First tip, spend good times to review or self-review several days or weeks before the exam. Remember, a soldier never goes to the battlefield without more than enough ammunition. That is suicide. So make sure you are equipped with enough ammunition when taking the licensure. Number 2, create a to-do list or schedule. Make a timetable with dates and timeframes and topics you plan to study. Decide what needs to be done between now and the date of your examination. What I did was I plotted on my calendar the different topics that I will be reviewing before the licensure. Determine your priorities. Realistically decide how much time you will need to devote to each task. And remember, do first things first. Effectively managing your time will help you feel prepared and give you a peace of mind as you work towards your license. Just make sure you have the discipline to follow your schedule. There are things we should be serious about, and there are things we can take as jokes. It is a wise one who recognizes the difference and does what is correct all the time. So take things seriously, review seriously. I always knew that looking back on my tears would someday make me laugh, but I never knew that looking back on my laughter would someday make me cry, according to Cat Stevens. So we decide whether we will have the tears now and someday laugh about it, or we take things lightly now and laugh about it and someday cry. Even in early planning, you still run the risk of being so nervous during the exam. Just remember, no one is ever prepared for a licensure exam. So it's okay to be anxious. Time is free, but it's priceless. You can't own it, but you can use it. You can keep it, but you can spend it. Once you've lost it, you can never get it back. It's according to Harvey Mackay. So make sure that you spend your time wisely. Make sure you use your time to review well. Number 3, always remind yourself, victory goes to those who strive hard and pray hardest. What I did was I posted the phrase, God bless you, future Topnotcher on my wall, and I attracted it. I was one of the Topnotchers during the 2012 licensure examination for teachers. So you can also do this. Number 4, know the exam coverage, subjects, and the level of difficulty. So take note that as you have limited time, be conscious of the number of questions per subject and budget your time accordingly. Number 5, read, read, and read. Anything and everything. Because they say anything under the sun and including the sun itself may come out in the licensure. Okay. So gather all the materials that you will be needing during the review. Books will be your constant companion. Love them and you'll learn a lot from them. What I also did was I have my younger siblings and I also tutor them. And by tutoring them, I was able to read or study their notes in books. And some of the questions in the licensure were actually from those books or references. So it's good to also tutor others, and from the references, you may be able to get something that may help you answer the questions in the licensure. Also, study your summarized notes from your undergrad. You have to read to learn, and not for the sake of the licensure exam only. To learn something is great because every time you learn something, you become something new. You have to enjoy reviewing or learning or reading so that you will not get tired or you will not be bored in reviewing. Number 6, help yourself. Do not believe everything that you have read. You have to do your own research. You have to make sure that what you're reading is really correct. Do not solely depend on players or the review center. You have to do your own review and you have to do your own reading. Listen to your teachers or your review instructors, and do not cheat or copy the answers of your seatmate during the review or class. Because once you are used to cheating, by the time you take the licensure, you will be anxious because you cannot cheat. No one has taught anything to anyone. I could be the wisest person in the world and tell you all I know, but if you don't want to know it, you do not learn it. So make sure you have an open mind to learn new things that you can use for the licensure. Number 7, focus on the subjects which carry greater weight and also on those you are not very good at. So you have to examine yourself, examine your weaknesses and strengths, and focus on those weaknesses. 8, remember the mass review concepts from general education subjects. For general education, remember that you have taken most of these concepts back in elementary and high school, so there's a great possibility that you have forgotten them already. So you may also read the books of students from elementary or high school. For math, fractions, volumes, percentage areas, and elementary algebra. For English, figures of speech, and the subsequent verb agreement. For Filipino, dayutay, retorika, pagbasa, at pagsulat. And for science, biology, physical science, and earth science. Number 9, understand the major theories, concepts, and techniques in professional education subjects. There are times that you have to choose which among the situations and the choices will be logical based on theories and concepts mentioned or applied. So use your common sense and logical thinking. Number 10, pace yourself. It would be good to follow a calendar with the subjects you need to study for each day so you can be sure that you are able to read all the topics at least thrice. Allow twice the amount of time you think you need to study. So for example, if you think that you will be able to finish all the topics in 2 months, then allow 4 months for you to review. 11, read the laws and regulations in the original form or their full text. Make and study your own review materials. And if you're going to top the exam, you must know something that others do not. So if you read the original, you will know some ideas which were not included in the reviewers, which most examinees rely on exclusively. Number 12, practice answering the sample-led questions, and lots of them. Compile sample questions and take the practice exam without looking at your notes or answer key to help you gauge your preparedness for the exam. This will help take away some of the jitters. 13, practice answering problems and time yourself while doing so. So I did this when I was preparing for the licensure. Strive to answer as fast yet still as carefully as you can, and practice especially in terms of managing your time and in shading small rectangles. So I got some blank answer sheets from the review center, and then I tried to time myself and answer the practice questions while timing myself. So make sure that you have your own watch review, whether you are reviewing or when taking the licensure, so that you are able to manage your time. 14, ask for someone's help. So ask for helpful tips and advice that you can use during the review or even in the actual examination. So while preparing for the licensure, what I did was I asked some Topnotchers, and I asked them for tips that I can use for the licensure, and they did really give me some tips that are helpful for topping the licensure. Learn from yesterday, live for today, Hope for tomorrow. The important thing is not to stop questioning. That is according to Albert Einstein. So lab questions are not all from what our education teachers have taught us. Some are from our kindergarten lessons. 15, a study area. Okay, do you study with music on, or do you want a quiet place where you can think well? So you have to master your learning styles. Be comfortable but alert. Choose a comfortable location with space enough that you need, and don't slouch. Maintain a good posture, because when you slouch, you are limiting the blood supply to your brain and you will feel sleepy. 16, figure out your learning style. Decide on and adopt study strategies that work best for you. Are you visual? Are you kinesthetic? Or are you an auditory learner? Everyone learns differently and will require different study techniques. So I experimented on my learning style. What I did while reviewing for the licensure was I tried to read my notes or review materials out aloud, and I record it. Then later on, while listening to my recording, I tried to write down the things that I learned while reviewing. And I realized that I am visual kinesthetic. I learn best when I see what I'm trying to learn, and also when I write it down or when I'm drawing it. Also, I do visualization. I try to visualize what I'm memorizing so that when I have the time that I will try to remember it, I'll just try to visualize it again. 17, split up your test preparation into manageable chunks. It may be helpful to break up your study plan into day-to-day lesson where you focus on one area for one day. So you try to decide which day are you going to allot for this particular subject or topic, and you stick to that. 18, find a study buddy. So if you don't have a study buddy, find a friend or a family member to help you stay on track or follow your study plan. Or you can just have someone to remind you or to motivate you to do your best in reviewing. 19, use high quality test preparation materials or videos. You can watch the YouTube or other video materials, but make sure that they are reliable materials. And that is true with other printed materials. 20, take some rest. Plan breaks within your study sessions. 10 minutes for every hour is a good rule of thumb. You need to rest your eyes, your back, and also you give time for your brain to transfer the short-term memory to transfer the idea or concept from short-term memory to your long-term memory. And you are not a robot and you are not a Superman. You should be physically healthy, especially on examination day. So take some rest. 21, study slowly and over a longer period of time. Cramming leads to selective memory. So make sure you have a long time of preparation so that you avoid cramming. 22, keep a healthy body for the healthy mind. So eat lots of vegetables and fruits, especially berries, nuts, and veggies like broccoli. Choose fish over pork and always stay hydrated and get enough sleep. Exercise. Take a stroll every day or do stretches while at work. Physical activity pumps oxygen-rich blood into our brain and firing up our neurons. 24, aim for the top, have confidence, and be optimistic. Research claims that the more the person envisions success, the more it becomes achievable. So according to Henry Ford, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. And according to Albert Einstein, weakness of attitude becomes weakness of character. So be confident and be positive. I know you can top or pass the licensure. 25, pile up stock knowledge. The outcome of examination doesn't rely on intelligence alone. Licensure exam is a marathon contest, and the one blessed with immense patience and good study habits are favored. Read as many as you can, and if necessary, solve and answer as many questions as you can. Try answering 30 to 50 questions or writing down 30 to 50 new information every day. 26, make a cheat sheet. Write down all your mnemonics, definitions, and formula on a small size paper or index cards. Bring your cheat sheet along with you wherever you go so you can easily take a pic for a quick review. But do not use or bring this cheat sheet during the licensure. Index cards with terms and formulas are useful, and manila paper posted on walls containing the important terms or laws, etc., can also be helpful. And read everything at least 3 to 5 times. The first time to comprehend, the second time to improve recall, the third time to help you memorize, the fourth time to help you memorize, the fifth time to make it so much as a part of you that even without a book, you know it by heart. So again, first time comprehend, second time improve recall, third time summarize, fourth time memorize, and the fifth time to know it by your heart. 27, improve your HOTS or analytical skills. That is all about common sense and analytical skills. So most of the questions are situational and will surely require your higher order thinking skills. So let nowadays contain a lot of SATA or select all that apply questions. So what you can do is to try to answer a handful of these questions to develop your analytical thinking skills. You should also test your understanding by differentiating and explaining concepts in your own words. While reviewing, rephrase the ideas and think of actual applications. And you may also visualize. For example, in methods of teaching, allow yourself to compare method 1 with method 2, then ask yourself why method 1 is preferred than the other on certain situations. But don't overdo your analytical skills during the test because you might miss the right answer, because some of the questions are just common sense. 28, don't procrastinate. Manana habits somehow became an attachment to Filipino culture. So even for a month or two, try to avoid it. Focus and self-discipline will be a defining factor for your success. So learn to control yourself and fight distractions. Do not say, I'll just review tomorrow. Then tomorrow comes and you just say, I'll review again tomorrow. So tip, when reviewing, avoid places where there are beds or a couch. The tendency is that you will have a hard time controlling your sleepy head, especially when you know there's a comfortable bed just a few steps away from you. And stay away from Facebook or from other social media. 29, review. Enjoy the review. There's no greater feeling than enjoying what you're doing. And if you do, chances are you will be able to remember and understand all the things that you put in your mind. So try to enjoy the review. 30, do not rely on luck. The more you review, the more you are exposed to a lot of knowledge. And when the time calls for you to make a guess, you are actually making an educated guess. So try to make an educated guess by eliminating the possible wrong answers. So have faith, have good intentions, and pray always. When you are at peace and confident, you will perform better. So prayer helps greatly along with hard work. It is very okay to ask for divine providence all the time, but God only helps those who help themselves. While you pray, do all your job. Review as hard as you can, and for sure, God's blessings will be with you when you take the examination. Pray for everything. When I was reviewing for the licensure, and even during the review and after the exam, during the exam, I pray for everything. I pray for my test paper, I pray for my answer sheet, for my seat, for my testing classroom, for my proctor, for the machine that will do the checking of the test papers. I pray for everything. I pray even for the weather. I pray for wisdom. I pray for my pencil, for my eraser, for my calculator. I prayed for everything. So faith is to believe that which you don't see, and the reward of this faith is to see that which you believe. Saint Augustine of Hippo. 32, motivate yourself. Always remind yourself of the people who inspire and motivate you the most to study hard, like your family, special someone, and God. 33, do not pressure yourself with the expectations of other people. You are determined to pass or top the examination. Do not be affected negatively by the opinions of other people. This is your fight, not theirs, and be sure you are giving your best shot. Work hard for it so that whatever happens, you can hold your head up and straight, and you can say, I did my best. When I graduated, I was the lone summa cum laude of my batch, and there's an immense pressure for me to top the licensure examination. But then again, months before the licensure, I had a mild stroke because I was diagnosed with systemic lupus erythematosus. It's an autoimmune disease wherein my immune system attacks my own organs or systems. So, for example, if it attacks my joints, I get joint pains. If it attacks my red blood cells, I get anemia. So much before the licensure, my immune system attacked my brain, my precious brain. And with all the pressure, because being alone summa cum laude, it was a big pressure for me. But then again, I didn't let it affect me negatively. Actually, my neurologist told me not to take the licensure exam that year because we never know what the effect of the blood clot on my brain. And I may not be able to pass the licensure, considering that I may not be able to remember the information that I have or reviewed on. But then days after I went out of the hospital, I was in the PRC filing for the licensure because I believe if I top the licensure, it is not because of my intelligence, it is because God wants me to glorify Him. And God really knows how to humble people because with my achievements being the summa cum laude of my batch and being one of the 10 outstanding students of the Philippines, He prepared me for something great, for something bigger, and that's for the licensure exam. Nobody knew that I had a mild stroke before the licensure, and everybody's expecting me to top the board. And then I just prayed to God to give me the confidence and the wisdom to be able to glorify Him with the results of the examination. And He did give me what I wanted, and I did glorify Him by being one of the top-notchers. So if I made it to the top 10, even with the mild stroke experience, I know you can also make it. 34, follow PRC's general instructions. Your school or building assignment will be posted at the PRC premises 2 or 3 working days before the examination. So bring your notice of admission when you verify your school or building assignment. Visit your school or building assignment prior to the day of the examination and try to visualize where you will be seated and try to be comfortable where you will be sitting. And then report to the school building assignment before 6:30 a.m. on the first day of examination to verify your room and seat number and be punctual. And late examinees will not be admitted. So make sure to be there an hour or 30 minutes before the scheduled starting of exam. And examination fee of absent examinees will be forfeited. So when I took the licensure, I was not able to sleep well because I was excited and I was looking at the clock all the time and maybe afraid of not being able to wake up before 6 o'clock. But then despite of not having slept well the night before, I was able to enjoy the examination. because I said to myself, this will be my first and last event. Examinees are required to wear the following attire every examination day. So if there are no changes here, then it might be that the males will wear white polo shirt or white or t-shirt with collar and tucked in. For females, white blouse and t-shirt with collar. And for the examination day, they're required to bring the notice of admission, official receipt, one-piece metered stamped window mailing envelope, 2 or more pencils, number 2, a ball pen with black ink, only 1-piece long brown envelope and 1-piece long transparent plastic envelope. And make sure that if you bring your snacks, they have no labels on it. So, and the following are prohibited inside examination premises: the programmable calculators, cellular phones, bags of any kinds, any examination aids or cheat sheets, they are prohibited. And also try to solve even without a calculator, because you never know, your calculator may not be able to function well during the exam. So you try to practice solving without a calculator so that you are equipped with the skill that by the time you take a licensure and your programmable calculator, your non-programmable calculator fails you, then you are still able to solve for that particular question. 35, visit the exam room days before the exam and check the comfort of the room, know where you are going to, how long it will take you to get there. If you're commuting, know the route, which vehicles to ride, and if you will bring your car, know where the parking area is. 36, if you can, stay overnight at a place near the venue so that you are able to walk and have no problem with the traffic. And 37, prepare all the stuff that you need early. So your exam documents, your sharpened pencils, eraser, sharpener, calculator, prepare them maybe a week or days before the schedule of the licensure. And also for your food and drinks, do not bring food that have labels and those food that may cause stomach aches or farting. You have to remove the labels. And what I did when I took the licensure was I put my snacks on a zip lock container, and I made sure that it has no label. And check if the calculator you plan to bring for the exam is in the PRC's list of allowed calculators. Remove all the labels, especially if food and drinks, and bring a watch with you so that you're able to manage your time. And even though there might be a clock in the examination room, you'll appreciate having your own watch as time draws to a close. So 38, have a good sleep the night before the exam. If you don't have enough sleep, you will be sleepy during the exam, and sleep helps your mind organize the information and allows your brain to function at top speed. So 39, wake up early and pray for guidance. And you can also face the mirror and say, good morning, Topnotcher. Today is your day. Good luck and God bless you. And then 40, take a bath and eat a good breakfast. So have a good breakfast. You want your body to be ready for those tough questions, and never take a test on an empty stomach. You will be thinking of food instead of the right answer. Arrive early at the test site. Be sure to arrive to the testing center early. Have a big allowance for the traffic, and you will be so much more relaxed if you are just waiting for the test to begin at the exam room compared to when you are running around like headless chicken thinking that you might not make it in time. So allow a 40-minute allowance. 42, have a peace of mind. So keep calm, relax. You cannot answer all the questions correctly. That's a reality. You cannot prepare for all the things you want to prepare. Just think that if you don't know the answer, others are just the same as you, and you will feel better. So 2 days before the exam, clean up your desk, whether you think you are done with the review or not. Relax and pray to God for guidance. This time, your mindset should be, Whatever happens, I'll try my best to finish this. 43, anxiety. To prevent anxiety prior to or during the test, you should first understand that it's okay to be nervous, but do not get anxious about being anxious. Instead, make a plan to properly prepare for the test. If you know that you have reviewed well, you did your best, then, and you just pray for it, be calm, take a deep breath, and try to calm yourself. Okay? And then remind yourself that you did your best and it's okay. Once you have worked on a practice test and assessment, you will have a more realistic idea of how well you will do on the test and how much time you need to prepare in order to pass. Having a realistic expectation will ease the anxiety and help you prepare under less pressure. You should also spend the night before the test to unwind and mentally decompress so you are relaxed and ready for the next day. You can watch maybe a short film or have a healthy dinner with your friends, and this will keep you out of stress you had in your review. During examination, do not try to bring any review material or do not ask your classmate. I can't remember who is this author again that was the founder of this. Do not try to ask anymore or do not entertain questions from others anymore, because the more you do that, the more you will realize that the more you don't know and the more you will be anxious. So you just try to relax, take a deep breath, keep calm, and pray. Do not entertain questions from others anymore. 45, relax and take a deep breath often. You can control the testing situation, but you can control yourself. Stay calm, answer the easy questions first, but be sure that you have answered every question 30 minutes before ending the time. Don't get carried away with those examinees that pass their papers at an earlier time. Use your time well. If there's still time, review. 46, eat a healthy meal. The brain requires quality nutrition to ensure optimum performance, so make sure you eat a healthy meal beforehand. Do not eat strange foods days before you take the exam. Again, exercising before a test releases chemicals that increase mental agility. So only 15 minutes of brisk walking or a light jog will be enough to stimulate your heart and brain before the examination. So considering exercising on the day of the test, just enough to burn extra nervous energy without tiring yourself out. 38, listen to test instructions, follow instructions carefully. They will tell you everything regarding the exam on what you need to do before, during, or later the examination. Listen to what the proctor is telling you during the exam, and if you're confused or in doubt, ask the proctor directly, not your seatmate. And if you're still in doubt with the instructions of the proctor, you may try to ask the proctor of the other room or the other proctors present in the room. 49, exercise the proper shading techniques. Before you shade it, make sure you are shading the right answer, or at least it is your final answer. You can use of your fingers to line the boxes to make sure that you are answering on the right item number and you are shading the right box. Avoid any erasure as much as possible to prevent any damage to the answer sheet. But if you really need to erase it, make sure it is clean. So before the exam day, try the eraser you plan to bring on a white paper or a semi-cardboard white paper. Write something on it with a pencil you plan to bring and erase this writing with your eraser. If the eraser erases cleanly your writing, then you are good. Make sure that you only shade until the last number of the last question. The total number of the shaded answers should correspond to the total number of test items. Also, make sure that you don't shade beyond the box. Don't shade it heavily too. If you are not yet sure of your answers, shade them lightly first. Then just double shade them if you are already sure of these answers. 52, for every given set of test items, there are specific directions you should follow. Read the directions carefully and avoid careless errors. You may also try to rephrase the question in your own words and try to understand it. 53, don't leave any test item unanswered unless instructed otherwise. If you really don't know the answer, then you'll have to make a good guess, but do it rarely. Gauge the answers to a question carefully and eliminate as many options as you can. 54, all questions have answers. Do not question the questions. Do not believe in other people saying shade letter E if there is no answer in the choices. There is no instruction like that unless the VRC comes up with a new set of directions. Get the nearest choice to the answer if you find a question very mysterious. Again, do not follow what others are saying when they say shade letter E if there's no answer. Because there are only 4 choices, A, B, C, and D in the test booklet. So it's common sense that you only choose from among those choices. 55, manage your time wisely. Answer questions that are short and simple before proceeding to long and tough answers. If you have read the question twice already, but still not able to come up with the correct answer, then maybe you can just leave that question behind first and go to easier questions. But make sure that you return to that unanswered item later on when you have finished all the easy ones. And also make sure that when you skip an item, for example, you skip number 53 and you are now in 54, make sure that when you have your correct answer in mind for 54, you shade the correct answer or the correct box in the number 54, not 53. Okay, be reminded always of your unanswered items. Mark particularly challenging questions and come back to them at the end. So you may also fold the area or the page of the unanswered item and make sure to come back to it later on when you have finished all the easy questions. Do not spend more than 2 minutes of your precious time on just one item. Many test takers waste time, they run out of time to answer 5 to 10 other questions they could have answered more easily. To practice managing your time yourself during practice tests to see how long it takes for you to complete each test. Okay, so you may, if it's a long paragraph of question, you may read the question first and then scan through all the choices. Then you may go back to the question and read it carefully. And when you have understood what you're looking for, then that's the time you can look for the choices. If you have read everything twice and still not able to get what you're looking for, you skip that item. And later on, if you came back to that question and still not able to get what you're looking for, then you may have an educated guess. Eliminate the options that are obvious distractors, and you will end up with the 2 best possible answers. Make a very educated guess at this point when you really can't figure out the right one, or follow your instinct. Go to the restroom before the test starts. This will prevent you from wasting or consuming time on other matters. Use common sense to answer the questions. Do not overreact or oversolve or overanalyze questions. Some are just questions that require simple common sense. Review if you have time. Resist the urge to leave when you have completed the exam. Check if you have answered all the questions and have not made any errors or mismarked any answers. Stay calm and confident, but not overconfident, and keep a good attitude and remind yourself that you're going to do your best. If you find yourself panicking, take a few deep breaths And don't talk to other students right before, because you can get stressed as well, because stress can be contagious. Why is it that even graduates from reputable schools sometimes fail the lab? Maybe they panicked or they were overconfident. Moderation is the key. So feel confident about the things you studied and stay calm, even if you don't know the answer to the very first question. So sometimes when you get to the first page and all the questions were unfamiliar, you get to be more nervous. You just have to pray for your answers. You pray that you will be guided, that you will be given wisdom, that you will be able to choose the right answer. Read the question carefully and look at all the options before answering. Always check the time to make sure you have enough time to answer all the questions. And also check if you're shading the right circle or rectangle under the right number. And use your finger as a ruler to line the number. So check off each line after you've read it. Sometimes during tests you can get lost. So checking off each line helps you to remember where you are if you get distracted. And read all the choices, cross off all the answers that you know are wrong. And don't leave an item blank if you're given the question. If you're given the question your best shot and you still don't know, pick one answer and go on. And leave the racing to the race cars. It never makes sense to rush through a test to finish quickly. Taking your time means winning. So do not be distracted by those who are already standing up and going out of the room because they've finished the test already. If there is still time, review your answers. During my time, I reviewed my answers thrice or 3 times before passing my paper. Don't worry. When everyone is done around you, take a deep breath and get back to work. Just because it may take a longer time for you to get an answer doesn't mean you aren't getting the right answer. You're doing a great job. If nervous or distracted, remember to breathe. A few deep breaths will help you focus and get back to business. So take a deep breath, maybe count up to 5 seconds, then inhale 5 seconds, and then you can also exhale 8 seconds. Then that will give you time to relax. And get your positive attitude ready. Be serious but cool at the same time. It is as important as your number 2 pencil. You've done the hard work of learning. Say, I can do this, and get started. If you are unsure of your answer, rest for a few seconds. Don't pressure yourself. If you don't know, just think that others don't know the answer also. And lastly, enjoy your first and last class. Congratulations, future Topnotchers and professional teachers. Again, remember, if you want it, you must will it. And if you will it, then it will be yours. Advance congratulations. And if you like this video, kindly press the like button, or you may also subscribe so that you will be notified of my future videos. And if there are topics that you want me to create videos on, kindly write them down in the comment section. Thank you very much. God bless you, Topnotchers.